It has been a year and a half since I got my mock mill grain mill and started milling my own flour at home, and I want to share with you what I have learned along the way. First and foremost, what I learned immediately when I made my first loaf of sourdough with fresh milled flour is that it tastes much more sour than sourdough does when it's made with all-purpose or bread flour. And here is why. When you make sourdough with whole wheat or whole grain flour, it increases the sour flavor. Most specifically, it's the acetic acid that increases the sourness. And when you make sourdough with whole wheat or whole grain flour, the micronutrients in the flour, in the bran and the germ, actually increase the acetic acid, making a more sour loaf of bread. So considering that fresh milled flour has all parts of the wheat berry in it and it has all of the bran and all of the germ, it creates a ton of acetic acid when you are making sourdough. So in my experience, when I make sourdough with fresh milled flour, it is much more sour than even the sourdough I make with store-bought whole wheat or whole grain. I don't really mind the sourness, but I do prefer generally a more mild flavored bread. So one thing I found that as I've been making fresh milled sourdough is that I prefer the flavor better if I reduce the amount of time it cold proofs in the fridge. The cold temperatures during the cold proof also contribute to a more sour flavor. So by reducing the amount of time that I chill it in the fridge, it is a little more mild tasting. One thing that's really important to remember about using fresh milled flour, whether you're making sourdough, yeast, breads, or some sort of pastry, is that it's never going to taste like white flour because it isn't white flour. It's going to taste different. There are tips and tricks and ways to create a more mild flavor, but it's not white flour, so it's not going to taste like white flour. So it is important to adjust those expectations. Now, I still cold proof my fresh milled sourdough because the cold dough creates a better oven spring. It creates steam as you bake it, which makes the dough rise, but I just reduced the time. I usually cold proof it about 6 to 7 hours when I'm baking with fresh milled flour compared to 12 to 15 hours when I'm using all-purpose. The other major difference that I have found making sourdough bread with fresh milled flour is that the bulk fermentation is a lot faster. How long it takes your dough to bulk ferment really depends on a variety of factors, including how strong your sourdough starter is, what type of flour you're using, how warm the environment is, and other factors. But I have found every time that I make sourdough with fresh milled flour, the bulk fermentation is just a lot faster. And that's because fresh milled flour has more micronutrients for the yeast and bacteria in the sourdough starter to metabolize. So all that yeast and bacteria that's metabolizing the wheat and makes the dough rise are just really active and works a lot faster. So for me in my kitchen, which is usually around 70 to 71 degrees most times of the year, it takes, I'd say, just about 3 to 4 hours for my dough to bulk ferment. Whereas if I'm using a regular white flour, sometimes it takes all day. It can take up to like 10 or 12 hours depending on the time of year and what I'm making. I have over fermented a lot of fresh milled sourdough bread since I've been milling my own flour, and that's really normal. When you switch to a new type of flour or you're trying a new recipe, it's really normal to make mistakes. And there is a little bit of a learning curve to working with fresh milled flour. So what I really recommend as you start experimenting with making fresh milled flour sourdough and all types of sourdough, to be honest with you, no matter what type of flour that you are using, is to watch the dough, not the clock. With fresh milled flour sourdough during the bulk ferment, what I'm looking for to know when that bulk ferment is done is for the dough to have increased about 30 to 40% in size and to see some bubbles forming. Fresh milled flour sourdough dough, which is a lot to say, will look different during the bulk ferment than any dough does with white flour. White flour rises, it domes on top, it gets really bubbly, but fresh milled flour dough doesn't quite do that in the same way because it has the bran and the germ. That bran and germ are sharp, and so it cuts some of the dough as it starts to rise, making those bubbles pop a little bit. So it's really normal for your dough to not look as big and to not look as expansive when you're working with fresh milled flour as it does when you're using white flour. Of course, underproofing your dough also causes some problems, but with fresh milled flour, I would recommend erring on the side of slightly underproofed than overproofed. But most importantly, you just have to experiment and understand your recipe. Any dough that you're making that has things like eggs, milk, sugar, butter in it, they are going to take longer to proof no matter what. If you are making bread, say like a no-knead sourdough that's just water, flour, and salt, that will probably proof a lot faster. So the real secret here is to keep on baking and keep on experimenting and have fun with it. If your dough overproofs, don't worry about it. Consider it a learning experience. Just put it on a sheet pan, bake it like a flatbread, throw some cheese on it, and everything is going to be okay. Now, in terms of fresh milled flour and sourdough starter, I have found that I much prefer my sourdough starter with all-purpose flour than fresh milled. I do feed my starter fresh milled flour and it works fine, but because it does ferment faster, I feel like I have to feed it more and it does get more sour because it has fresh milled flour in it. But also sometimes I just don't feel like milling flour to feed my starter. Sometimes I have flour in the freezer that I can throw into my starter, but more often than not, it's just easier for me to throw in some all-purpose flour and just use that for my starter and then make bread with fresh milled flour. But you can definitely make sourdough starter with fresh milled flour, all-purpose flour, a combination of the two, whatever it is you want. But for me, in the last year and a half, I have found that I repeatedly just go back to feeding my starter all-purpose flour and baking with fresh milled. The internet has some big feels about that. We'll talk a little bit more about my feelings about mixing all-purpose and fresh milled in a few minutes. I love sourdough. I make sourdough all the time. I still make fresh milled sourdough, but when it comes to baking bread that my family will actually eat, if I am making fresh milled flour with sourdough, they just don't like that sour flavor as much. So I have been making a lot more of my breads with active dry yeast. In fact, I have a couple of recipes over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com that you can check out that convert some sourdough bread recipes to fresh milled recipes with yeast. Because that lactic acid and acetic acid aren't factors that come into play with the flavor of bread when you're baking with active dry yeast or instant yeast, the bread is just more mild tasting. The first rise takes about an hour and a half. I shape it, and then the second rise takes about another hour and a half, and then I bake it. So it's really fast. What I don't like about that sometimes is that it is really fast. My preference for sourdough often comes from that I need more time. I need the time to make the dough and then go live my life for a little bit and then come back and bake it later. So the downfall that I have found with making yeast breads with fresh milled flour is I have to be able to make the bread from start to finish in one swoop. Whereas with sourdough, I have a little bit more time. But anytime I make fresh milled flour dinner rolls, for example, with yeast, my 5-year-old daughter devours them and she's just sitting around eating healthy whole grain bread for a snack. And I just can't say no to that. I think tastes and preferences for myself and for my family, they ebb and flow and they change. We were in a roll for a while where we ate a lot of sourdough with fresh milled flour. Now we're in a roll where we're eating a lot of fresh milled flour yeast breads. I don't know what we'll do next, but I think it's important when we're working with fresh milled flour and baking bread for our family to be flexible and change with what we want to eat that day and what our families are craving at that time or in that season. But what's really interesting about baking with fresh milled flour is when it comes to pastries, things like cookies and cakes, my whole family, we all prefer fresh milled flour pastries over white flour. I didn't think that would be the case, but all of us agree that they just taste better. While white flour baked goods often taste good, whole grain flour has more flavor in it. And when you combine that with the sugar and the chocolate or icing, whatever it is that you're making, those flavors together, in our experience and in our opinion, are delicious. With the exception of when I bake for other people, like at Christmas or for a birthday or something like that, we haven't really had many pastries in our home made with white flour in the last year and a half. We just really love pastries made with soft white wheat. One of the most important lessons I've learned working with fresh milled flour is that hydration is key. So the hydration of your baked goods has to change when you're working with fresh milled flour, and it changes in different ways depending on whether you're using hard wheat or soft wheat. So let's talk about hard wheat first. Hard wheat is the type of wheat berry that we use for things like breads because it has more gluten in it. So hard wheat is hard, meaning it has less liquid in it. So when you grind that into a flour, not only does it have all that bran and germ in it that needs more water because those little pieces are hard, it's also a drier wheat, meaning it needs more hydration. When I am converting my bread recipes to fresh milled flour, I increase the hydration by about 5%. When I make sourdough, I mix all of the ingredients together except the salt, but I include the sourdough starter in that initial mix because the sourdough starter contributes to the hydration of the dough. Your sourdough starter is made with part flour and part water. So you need that water from the starter in the dough to absorb. When I'm making fresh milled flour yeast breads, I mix all of the ingredients together except the yeast and the salt. Then once I have that dough initially mixed, I cover it and let it rest for about 30 to 45 minutes. That period of rest is called autolyzing, and what it does is it allows the fresh milled flour to absorb the water or the liquid in the recipe. Before autolyzing, the dough will look a little wet because it hasn't absorbed that liquid yet. And then after that rest period, you'll notice that the dough looks a little bit different. I have found since I've been milling flour though, that even after the autolyzing, it doesn't really look like a bread dough until I start kneading it and making adjustments. It's too hard to tell off the bat whether the dough needs more water or more flour because it needs to absorb all of that liquid first. So I don't start making any adjustments to the dough until I start kneading it or until I start doing stretch and folds, whatever type of recipe I'm doing. And then when I make those adjustments, I make them 1 tablespoon at a time. So if I need more water in my dough, I add 1 tablespoon of water. If the dough still seems way too sticky, I just add 1 tablespoon of flour. So just to recap then, when you're converting a bread recipe to fresh milled flour, increase the hydration by about 5%. Let the dough rest for 30 to 45 minutes before you knead it. And then once you start kneading it, make adjustments as necessary. Okay, luckily working with soft wheat is a little bit easier. Soft wheat is used for things like cakes and pastries. It does not have enough gluten for bread, so you wouldn't use it for a bread recipe. But soft wheat also contains more moisture, so that means you don't have to increase the hydration. In fact, it's the opposite. You have to increase the flour. For every cup of all-purpose flour in your recipe, you will need to increase the fresh milled flour by about a 1/4 cup or 30 grams or so. I have a free conversion chart over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. I'll leave a link for that in the description box, but it breaks down the conversion from all-purpose to fresh milled flour in cups and grams. Because soft white wheat is soft, it doesn't have such hard bran and germ in it, and because it contains more moisture, you don't have to worry about autolyzing your baked goods that you are making with soft white wheat. So in the last year and a half, as I have been making baked goods with soft white wheat, the only thing I found that I need to change is the amount of flour that I'm putting in the recipe, but that is it. So it is easy peasy. When it comes to baking bread with fresh milled flour, one thing that I've definitely found is that it does not rise in the same way. Fresh milled flour doesn't have the same gluten structure as an all-purpose flour, and it also has the bran and the germ in it, meaning that it's a heavier bread. So it's really normal for your fresh milled flour breads, whether you're making sourdough or yeast breads, to be a little more dense and kind of a heavier loaf of bread. If you are fine with that, you can just make your bread as usual and enjoy it. But if you were like me and you want just a little bit of a softer bread, I definitely have found that adding vital wheat gluten and sunflower lecithin are game changers. I've talked about these 2 additives in my bread tutorials, but just a quick recap in case you haven't seen them. Vital wheat gluten is extracted from wheat, and sunflower lecithin is lecithin extracted from sunflowers. These 2 ingredients can make a softer, fluffier loaf of bread. The vital wheat gluten increases the amount of gluten in the dough so you can get a better rise and creates a little bit of a softer texture. And the sunflower lecithin emulsifies the fats into the dough, which creates a softer loaf of bread. And because it emulsifies those fats, it also makes the bread last longer too. I have found in the last year and a half that fresh milled flour breads mold really quickly, like way faster than what you think they would. But when I use sunflower lecithin, they last a lot longer, about as long as a regular loaf of sourdough made with all-purpose flour. So in my experience, I really prefer adding these 2 ingredients into my bread dough, whether I'm making sourdough or yeast bread. Some people don't like to use them because they are processed, they are not in a whole food form. But for me, since they're naturally derived, I am okay with that. Either way though, your bread will work. I have just found that I prefer using vital wheat gluten and sunflower lecithin. Now in terms of gluten development, one thing about fresh milled flour is it can be harder to achieve the Windowpane test, but it is not impossible to achieve the Windowpane test. So the Windowpane test is just a little thing you do with dough where you stretch it and you want to see light pass through the dough before the dough breaks. When that happens, that means you've developed the gluten enough in the dough. A lot of people have asked me, like, how do you get the Windowpane test with your fresh milled flour? And there are a couple tricks to that. 1, hydration. If your dough is not hydrated enough, you are not going to achieve the Windowpane test with the dough. It's going to break every single time. So make sure your dough is hydrated enough. It should not be sticking all over your hands, but it should be slightly tacky. And secondly, that vital wheat gluten, it does the job every single time. It adds more gluten into the dough, so it's just a lot easier to achieve a dough that's really stretchy and that can pass the Windowpane test. One thing I have really noticed about fresh milled flour though is when you're doing doing the Windowpane test, no matter what, with or without vital wheat gluten, it does break easier. Because the bran and germ are a little sharp, they can break the dough a little bit. So it's okay if your dough does rip. What you're looking for though is for light to pass through before the bran and germ rip the dough. One of the mistakes that I made when I first started milling my own flour at home is I bought every kind of wheat berry under the sun. I bought everything. I had my pantry stocked, I had my whole closet stocked, everything was stocked full of wheat berries. And it turns out a year and a half later, I'm basically just using soft white wheat, hard white wheat, kamut, and a little bit of einkorn. So I think an important learning lesson to share with you is don't overdo it with the wheat berries. If you want a million types of wheat berries, by all means have a million types of wheat berries. But if you have limited storage space, or if you're working with just a certain budget for wheat berries, just really focus on having the ones that you really use and that you enjoy eating. Another mistake that I made with fresh milled flour is throwing my family into the fresh milled flour deep end. I got my grain mill and I made everything with fresh milled flour. I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't very good off the bat, and they didn't really like it. It takes a little bit of adjusting, not only to learn how to bake with fresh milled flour, but also for your taste buds. If you are used to the texture and the flavor of all-purpose or bread flour, for example, it is a little bit of an adjustment to switch to fresh milled flour. One of our favorite family recipes is a half all-purpose and half fresh milled flour sourdough bread. It is mild enough that everybody enjoys it because it has that all-purpose in it, but it also has some of the nutritional benefits of fresh milled flour, and my whole family eats it and it's delicious. I actually have that recipe over on my blog, so I'll link that in the description box. But I think the important part about that is sometimes, depending on your family's taste buds, when you're switching to fresh milled flour, ease everybody into it. Add a little bit of fresh milled flour into your recipes here and there and sort of work up everyone's tolerance to it. Not only is the flavor different, but also the way the body digests fresh milled flour is different too. And I'm not a doctor or a biologist or anything like that, so I don't like to get too much into those sorts of things, but it has more fiber in it, and your body definitely needs to learn how to process all that fiber if you are not used to it. So learn from my mistakes. Slow and steady with fresh milled flour wins the race. Another mistake that I made is I fell into the false narrative that I was hearing online that milling your own flour is cheaper. Sure, milling your own flour and making your own artisan bread with fresh milled flour at home is cheaper than buying fresh milled bread from a bakery. But milling flour isn't necessarily that cheap up front. This grain mill costs almost $1,000. If you ask me, worth every penny of it. But it's going to take a lot of homemade bread to make up that $1,000 expense. Of course, expenses and investment aren't always dollar for dollar. There's also the satisfaction and the joy that I get out of making fresh milled flour breads and feeding my family whole grain baked goods. Those sorts of things, they're worth a lot too. But if we're just talking about budget and money, it isn't always necessarily cheaper to mill your own flour. I also really want to note that fresh milled flour doesn't have to be all or nothing. I see a lot of chatter online where people are really hard on others making things with white flour or bread flour. I've had a lot of really rude comments about when I choose to bake with all-purpose flour over fresh milled flour. People saying that I'm foregoing my family's nutrition and all this stuff. Here's the deal. Is fresh milled flour more nutrient dense and healthier than white flour? Absolutely. Are we all just doing the best we can? Absolutely. It's going to be okay. If you want to use half all-purpose and half fresh milled flour, do it. If you want to just make a loaf of white bread with white flour from the store one day because you're craving it, do it. If you want to make 100% of your baked goods with fresh milled flour for the rest of your life, do it. For people like you and me who love to bake bread and kind of nerd out on things like milling flour, it can be really exciting and fun. And that's the most important part. It's exciting and fun. When I first got my grain mill, I felt like everything had to be whole grain. If I gave my family any white flour, I was doing them a disservice. And that is not true. Baking with fresh milled flour and milling your own flour, it shouldn't be a point of stress or cause any guilt. It should be a source of joy. So what I have learned, maybe most importantly in the last year and a half, is to balance fresh milled flour with the realities of my life and to enjoy every bit of it along the way.